Hello, I'm State Representative Jim Buchy from the 84th House District. Welcome to Ohio in Focus.
Welcome to this edition of Ohio in Focus, a program that brings state government to you. I'm your host, Carolyn Best. We have with us today State Representative Jim Buchy, who serves the 84th House District, which includes all of Mercer County and parts of Auglaize, Darke, and Shelby counties. Thank you for joining us today, Representative.
Thanks, Carolyn. Thanks for having me again.
Oh, you're welcome. So the first topic we want to talk about is Grand Lake St. Mary's. It's been a while since we heard an update about the lake. Can you share a little bit about what's going on there?
Sure. Well, as most of the viewers know, and you do, about 3 years ago we had a big problem with algae, and of course it's a situation that has developed over 100 years, the sediment and so on in the lake, so little by little we're getting better. And as a matter of fact, this year it's the best it's been in quite a while. The boaters are back. The fishing's been very good. They reinstated the crappie-thon and did very well. So there's a lot of positive enthusiasm currently as it relates to the lake compared to what it was a few years ago. We're on our way back.
That's great, and you kind of touched on this, but it sounds like boating season will be great for this summer. That's still, everyone's still able to go out and do that. Absolutely.
I think there's more and more people coming back, which is good for the tourism business. It's good for the whole community, and of course, Grand Lake St. Mary's is the largest inland lake in Ohio, so come on down, come on over.
And is there anything more being done as far as improving the health of the lake, the efforts that are continuing there? Can you tell me a little bit about that?
There is obviously an ongoing restoration program. We have several entities involved. We have the Lake Facilities Commission, we have LIA, LRC, LFA. These are all related to the restoration of the lake. There's been a lot of education that has been going on the last several years with the agriculture community to reduce and stop the runoff into the south end of the lake. And we have treatment train. We have one treatment train in place. What that does is filters the water coming into the lake, and there are more coming of those. Those are permanent entities that are going to be there to help. There's ongoing natural habitat restoration and so on. So there's a long-range plan to just continually make the lake better.
Great. And switching gears a little bit, Common Core is an issue we've discussed in this show many times, and something that's still in discussion. The Education NBR bill, House Bill 487, was recently signed. Can you tell me a little bit about how House Bill 487 affects Common Core at the grassroots level?
Well, thanks to the efforts of our state senator and President of the Senate, Keith Faber, he was able to insert several amendments into House Bill 487 on the Senate side, which speaks directly to addressing that particular issue. For example, there are 4 statewide committees now that are created that are going to be dealing with the separate subjects of math and English and science and social studies, and there's going to be parental involvement on that at the state level, along with the education folks, to review at the state level how the Common Core, what it's doing, and so on. The second thing that was done is, or currently as it relates to the program that's in place, and you obviously know, or maybe you don't, but I am not a supporter of Common Core. I've been opposed to it from day one, and it's philosophical. I've been around in my lifetime. I've watched Social Security, I've watched Medicare, Medicaid, well-intentioned federal programs that are just, depends on how you define it, are somewhat successful to failures. Now we have the best healthcare system in the world that you and I are watching implode right before us. So the real goal of Common Core is to nationalize public education. So if you like what's happened to those other programs, you'll love this. I don't. That's one of the reasons I don't. That's the main reason I don't support Common Core. But what we're doing here and what the amendments have done in 487 have created local committees where there's going to be parental involvement to help assist the educators with curriculum and subject matter and so on. We have in the 84th House District, Carolyn, that I have 20 school districts, and 16 of them are A's, 3 are B's, and 1's a C. My district is probably as good a district as there is in public education. We're better than Common Core, and we want to keep it that way.
All right, and I understand you signed a discharge petition for House Bill 237, which would void the Ohio Board of Education's adoption of Common Core. Can you go into detail a little bit about what that means, what the discharge petition means for that?
A discharge petition, Carolyn, is where if you have to have 50 of the 99 members of the House sign a petition to go directly to the Speaker asking that that legislation be brought to the floor of the House for immediate consideration, an immediate vote. And it's not done very often, but currently the legislation is not moving very quickly in committee, and we'd like to see it get on the floor and have action. Frankly, that's the goal. My personal goal is to get rid of Common Core.
And what's the current status of that petition?
Well, it's my understanding that they are in the process of gathering the signatures, and I don't know where they are in terms of total right now of getting to 50. Of course, we're in recess currently and probably will be until after Labor Day, so I don't know what the actual numbers are.
All right. And just to focus a little bit on your area and your district, you represent Mercer County as well as portions of Auglaize, Darke, and Shelby counties, and we'd really like to spotlight some of those different areas. Can you give us a little bit of detail on Auglaize County, just its size and that sort of thing? Sure. Well,
Auglaize County is a pretty good-sized geographical county. It also contains the east part of Grand Lake St. Mary's. And there are about 46,000 residents in Auglaize County. It's a combination of rural. The two largest cities in the county are St. Mary's and Wapakoneta. By the way, both of those cities are in Representative Tony Berkeley's district. They are not in the 84th. However, everything else in Auglaize County is in the 84th House District. So it has a large manufacturing base. As a matter of fact, there are 6,500 manufacturing jobs in Auglaize County. It has a tremendous, well, the biggest employer in the county is Crown Equipment Company in New Bremen. That's our world headquarters, a family-owned business that manufactures lift trucks and warehouse equipment and so on. And it's typical of the businesses in Auglaize County, and the biggest thing going for it is the fact that there currently is 3.6% unemployment. People are dedicated to providing for their families, and of course it starts with families.
And are there any other special characteristics of the county that?
Well, you have, here again, we have 6 of the best school districts in the state in Auglaize County. You've got over 500 of the best teachers. And believe you me, that's the most important profession there is, and we have the best teachers. Biggest thing going, though, is typical of the 84th House District. The family structure dominates. And for example, most of the families, when the kids go to kindergarten, they've already been doing chores for 2 years. I mean, we teach our children early personal responsibility, values, love of country, love of family, love of discipline, loyalty, honesty, integrity, all those things that matter. And that's the reason that it's such a successful county. And of course, it's agriculture, large agriculture. It just all boils down to it's a great place to live and rear a family. Great.
And our last topic will be on the study committee on law enforcement and the drug problem. And the opiate addiction issue is a problem not only in Western Ohio, but all over the state. And can you tell me a little bit about the House's plans to study this issue and how the study committee is going to research this area?
Well, Carolyn, a year ago, you know, there was quite a productive study committee that had several hearings around the state looking at drugs on the medical side of it. And, you know, as a result of that, we had the pill mill legislation and other bills that deal with trying to get to specific drugs and try to get them out of the system. The real solution to the drugs is to reduce and get rid of the demand. And now we want to focus this year on looking at the law enforcement side of the equation. In other words, law enforcement has its hands tied in a lot of cases, and so we want to look at what can we do to have local law enforcement, sheriffs, state highway patrol. One of the largest law enforcement agencies is the Department of Natural Resources, and so we're going to have some hearings in August around the state to listen to the folks who are involved in drug enforcement from a law standpoint, to see what we can learn from them, how we can use the drug war as the focal point to make things better and more efficient on the law enforcement side.
All right, and what would you say the end goal of this committee would be? You know, what are you hoping for the conclusion of this committee?
Well, what we're looking for is more efficient involvement on the law enforcement, so we can look at the treatment aspect of it as well on the law enforcement side. For example, we have in Mercer County right now, we have a program where the sheriff has an honors dorm inside the jail, and he's worked with the local judge, and they have found businesses that will employ inmates of the jail on a kind of a work release type program, and these have been identified as good people who are going to return positively to society, and we have other situations going on in the counties that are addressing that. So those are kind of the things we're looking at. How can we utilize law enforcement more efficiently to help not only in getting to the drug problem, but then how they can be helpful in the treatment as well.
Great. Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing the results of the
committee.
committee.
Well, yes, we're hoping that we have a good report to get back to the General Assembly.
Yeah, I think so. Well, for your constituents, if they have questions for you or just comments, can you give a little bit of information about how they can get a hold of you?
Sure. The best way to get a hold of me, first off, by phone, 614-466-6344. Email rep84@ohiohouse.gov. And then, of course, surveys. You know, we like to survey all the time our constituents, how they can feed back information to help me work better for them. So this month it's tinyurl.com/Buchy July 2014. Let me know what your opinion is. I appreciate it.
Great. Well, thank you, Representative, very much.
Thanks for having me, Carolyn.
You're welcome. We look forward to seeing you again on the next episode of Ohio in Focus, the program that brings state government to you. Thank you for joining us.